And I think you just said it.
This camera. This camera. Welcome to What the Sports, your headquarters for March Fatness.
March Sadness.
March Badness.
March Marchness.
March Gladness. And Women's Marches. March Catness as well. I'm Brandon Perna, and this is TJ Carpenter. Haha, stole your line.
You did. You did.
Suck it.
And we are preparing you for the inevitable riots that will ensue when Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters lead a rebellion stemming from a fourth quarter ejection when Peters threw a penalty flag at a 99-year-old superfan of the Rams. Don't ask me how they already have those. And Talib, who stole the ref's hat and declared martial law on the field. It's 2020. There's no water left in the city, and Wade Phillips is riding a flaming tank down Rodeo Drive while he inhales silver spray paint for one final high before he enters Valhalla.
Welcome to What's Sports. What is sports?
NFL free agency got underway last week. Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters were both traded to the Rams. Additionally, RIchard Sherman has signed a 3-year contract with the San Francisco 49ers, meaning yes, the Ferry Road in Mad Max is Interstate 5.
It's just called the 5, TJ. And when disaster hits LA, you take the 405 to the 10 to the 5 till you're already fucking dead. RIchard Sherman, though, is a perfect fit for the 49ers. His outspokenness, his intellectualism is welcome in San Francisco. But Sherman is the only player in the league who could get interviewed by Aaron Andrews after a game and quote Voltaire, defend a teammate who wasn't being attacked, and call John Lynch a sorry-ass GM in one sentence. Not a run-on sentence either.
Talib and Peters in Los Angeles are a bit of a different fit. They both play on the same side of the field, so one of them is going to have to switch. How do you think that conversation is going to go? Mind you, it's not a conversation where logic is likely to make an appearance. Look, this is Kanye West and Shia LaBeouf getting into an argument over who gets to be on the cover of Teen Vogue. It won't make any goddamn sense.
You know what scared me in free agency, TJ?
What's that?
Kirk Cousins saying this at his Vikings introductory press conference.
A verse from the Bible, Ephesians 3:20. And now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we can ask or imagine. And that has been our prayer. Today that prayer has certainly been answered, but we will continue to pray it more than ever as we go forward. That God would continue to do. And
you never, and I mean never, want your quarterback quoting the Bible to the media. That's fine for other positions. But if your QB is relying on God for help, your team is doomed. If God actually cared about football, he would have made Russell Wilson 3 inches taller and would have never let Phillip Rivers rot in purgatory. All great quarterbacks have one thing in common. They don't pray to God because they think they are God. Hell, when horn dog Joe Namath comes face to face with God, he might try to fuck it.
It?
Oh, TJ, you really think God is a he or a she? God is Michael Vick from Madden 04, but with less respect for dogs.
Dogs. Man's best friend and God's greatest mistake. God can make a man who can run a 4.4 40 and throw a football 70 yards, but he couldn't make a dog that won't shit on your carpet? Sounds like God got lazy with dogs. And the Cleveland Browns, which have a dog for a mascot.
And God is dog spelled backwards. We just blew your minds. Kirk Cousins did sign with TJ's lines.
That's right, that's mine. Kirk Cousins did sign with the Vikings, and Case Keenum landed in Denver on a 2-year deal. And it also means
TJ's got beef.
I've got beef with the Broncos. That's right. The Broncos didn't even make an offer to Kirk Cousins. Instead, they go with this guy, Case Keenum. Case Keenum is the most generic white quarterback of all time. He's 6'2", has an average arm, average playmaking ability, average ability to read the field, a consistent 3-day beard. Is this his wife? Yep. Was she his high school sweetheart? Yep. Did they probably get frisky in junior high? You betcha. And my God, those surfer bangs. And you only signed him for 2 years? You don't even believe in this guy. The back of his jersey at the introductory presser just said placeholder on it. Do you even know his name?
Case Keenum.
Thanks for coming off the tee box long enough to do a press conference for your placeholder quarterback, who you don't know, and not in any way, shape, or form remind everyone you've drafted 2 oafs at the quarterback position already. And you're probably about to draft a 3rd, because who in the name of Ted Marchibroda thinks Case Keenum is good enough to do that again?
TJ, I thought we talked about John Elway. That is strike 2. And outside of the dry humping, the teenage dry humping, you couldn't be more fucking far off base about Case Keenum. Case Keenum is now the best quarterback in the NFL, and it's not even close, you fucking idiot. The only thing average about Keenum is your analysis of him. The only other thing average about him is that if you stack 2 of your average-sized dicks on top of each other, they still wouldn't equal his. While you're busy watching NCAA basketball, I was watching Case Keenum Houdini NFL defenses on YouTube. I watched the tape. I watched tape, TJ. He's so good the Broncos don't even need to upgrade the offensive line anymore, which they haven't. Also, no more Ted Marchibroda references. Nobody knows who the fuck that is.
Well, Ted Marchibroda was actually...
TJ, I said never again. Jesus. And the shadiest move of free agency, a move so fucked up, even Bill Belichick was like, Jesus, Aussie Newsome, try and have a heart, man. The Ravens agreed to a 4-year, $29 million deal with wide receiver Ryan Grant, but then voided his contract after he failed their physical because they learned the Raiders had just cut wide receiver Michael Crabtree. Then they signed Crabtree and became the first team to announce a player signing via emojis only. Thank God emojis weren't cool when Ray Rice, you know, when that news broke. No, don't turn that into a graphic.
In other news, Sam Bradford is the Scientology of the NFL. You spend massive amounts of money and get nothing. Nothing, Brandon, in return.
And you have to let Tom Cruise fornicate you.
In fact, you get less than nothing, like the Arizona Cardinals, who are going to pay Bradford up to $20 million in 2018. Enough money that they had to release one of their best defensive players in Tyrann Mathieu.
Honey Badger don't give a shit about no Tom Cruise fornication. At least that's what he said when he signed a 1-year, $7 million deal with the Houston Texans after J.J. Watt recruited him via Twitter. What can't J.J. Watt do via Twitter? He raised $37 million for Hurricane Harvey relief, broke the news of the Mathieu signing via emojis. Suck it, Ravens. Oh, wait, I know. His weather updates on Twitter suck. They're lazy. J.J. Watt, you are to meteorologists what meteorologists are to evening entertainment.
Thank you very much for really diving into that one for us. You're like the Bob Woodward of shit no one gives a fuck about. The first 2 rounds of the NCAA Tournament are over, and we saw a 16 seed defeat a 1 seed. The University of Maryland, Baltimore County, the unsafety school, defeated the University of Virginia. America's reminder, Thomas Jefferson had sex with a shit ton of black people.
I guess you could say Virginia was a bit too cavalier about that basketball game, TJ.
I mean, how do you sleep with yourself at night?
I put on tape of Virginia basketball.
With all the talk of players being paid surrounding March Madness and the Olympics just recently concluding, many are proposing that college athletics adopt the Olympic model. In light of these proposals, Kansas has decided to embrace the Olympic model and only field a football team once every 4 years.
Go cheer on basketball!
North Carolina also fell this weekend. Roy Williams and them dudes got taken behind the woodshed, TJ.
What's behind the woodshed?
Fittingly, lots of NCAA losses. It wasn't pretty. The Aggies dominated from start to finish.
Do you mean dominate in a biblical sense?
No, I'm not Kirk Cousins. Roy Williams, who dresses like the spineless town mayor in Jaws, almost passed out in the late stages of the game as the Aggies continued their onslaught of dunks in the faces of North Carolina. It was like watching a Brazzers video, except instead of an 18-year-old co-ed, it's a 73-year-old basketball coach, and instead of 6'8" black guys, it was, well, that part is actually exactly the same. The only real difference is the finish in the Brazzers video is far less humiliating.
But congratulations to Texas A&M. After that win, you can already see how Jimbo Fisher's culture of winning is already spreading. Time for a 6-year extension for Jimbo. You can read all about it on the message board / MAGA dating site, TexAgs.com. Also in Marchness news, Loyola Chicago has made it to the Sweet 16, and so has their mascot, Sister Jean, a 98-year-old nun who watches college basketball while shadowboxing at the gym. She was asked by reporters what it was like to become a national sensation, and her response was, "If I could correct you, international sensation."
So if they don't win the tournament, I think it's safe to say God doesn't exist, DJ.
Yeah.
I pray for the other team, perhaps not as hard, but that's what people tell me.
In college football news, Ed Orgeron does not know how daylight savings time works.
And then I found out it was daylight savings time. I got a clock on my bed, but their iPhones automatically turn over, right? I didn't figure it out till last night. I was moving my clock ahead, you know what I mean?
J.R. Smith has been banned for throwing soup.
Hey, DJ. What do you call a politically outspoken NBA player who gets suspended for throwing soup?
What?
A progresso. Now that's good soup. Thick and chunky soup.
If I could, I would throw soup at you. Just leave it right there. Just don't touch it. I mean, how do you live with yourself?
I think you mean how do I sleep at night?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry. Enough money that they...
I like when somebody else fucks up.